to get to this PDF, if you open up under my computer, and you go to the X drive. So the X drive, I think I explained this to you briefly when you were here the other day. The X drive is the communal drive for everyone's files. So you open up the X drive, and you go to My Name. So search for K Grenling. And then under 15 Fall Arc 121, that's where I'm keeping all the files for this class. And then assignment 1 is where we have this PDF. All right. So in this PDF, since we're working in the top view and trying to stay consistent so I don't confuse any of you thoroughly, I'm going to just draw the top view. Why not? So we're going to basically start with, you could draw it in single lines, but I figure to get going, we could begin with a polyline. In most cases, when you're doing a profile like this, a polyline is going to suit you quite well. So let's learn how to just draw a series of lines in polyline fashion, and then we can go from there. So let's, we'll go back into Autocad, and make sure again that your units are set to architectural. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering how would you grab the screen like you do in Rhino?
In PDF?
No, in Autocad.
Oh yeah, sorry. It could be a little different here. So that's a good question, and I thought it was a little more intuitive than I suppose it is. So navigating the model space, right? Again, it's a little different than Rhino. If you go to Rhino and you go into the top view and you click your middle mouse button, it brings up this little quick select menu. But if you want to pan, you have to right click. Right, you're used to that by now. AutoCAD, you have to middle mouse click to pan. Yeah, if you right click, it brings up your shortcut menu. So it's backwards. You can change that if you want. I might at some point teach you how to do that. If you want me to, I will. But let's start with this for now. So middle mouse button to pan, right mouse button to open up a quick select menu, left mouse button to select. Okay, so first things first, we're just going to successfully draw. Yes?
If you click on it from the little sidebar, like if you click on the hand tool from the sidebar, how do you go back to just the regular?
Escape? Does that not work?
Works.
It does. Okay. So generally speaking, if you're in the middle of a command and you can't figure out how to cancel it, escape works as well. So that's another likeness to Rhino. You can just hit escape and it'll cancel a command. All right. So let's draw a polyline. For this, since we're kind of drawing it off of a PDF, what I'm going to do with that PDF is dock it to the right side. And for those of you who are not Windows users or just not computer savvy, with the latest versions of Windows, if you just pull a window off to the side, it'll scale it to fit on the side. Let me close that. It's a silly looking PDF. So then I'm going to also grab my, whoop, that's Rhino. I'm going to grab my AutoCAD window and I'm going to dock it on this side. And user interface pro tip here, when you scale your window down, or if you have a small resolution, it'll actually panelize and collapse all of your commands into these little subpanels. Okay, so just a heads up on that. But I predominantly type in my commands. I don't usually use the icons that much. If you need me to try and track it down for you, I will. So anyway, let's get into drawing. It's actually not very hard at all. I just gave you all the tools that you need just to simply move your mouse and type in how far it needs to go. Okay, so that's for a very simple polyline profile. So under draw, if you go to Polyline here, or if you just type in Polyline, activate that command. And I'm just going to do this one out in space right now. I'm not necessarily concerned with where it is in space. So I'm going to click there. Oh, that's huge. So notice when I clicked here and I pulled off, my ortho is saying, my ortho line is saying 645 feet. So that's really, really huge. I don't need it to be that big. So I can use my middle mouse wheel and just zoom in to a point where it's a little more realistic, right? So we're operating in like, 25, 24 feet, I think, is our whole building width. So something like this would be fine. So I canceled the command. I'm going to hit enter again, and I'll start it here. So at this point, we can very simply just draw. So I'm going to start off by saying, oh, let me make sure your settings are correct first. Okay, I'm jumping the gun here. I introduced the ortho mode. Ortho mode, if you want to just draw polylines very simply in orthogonal directions, make sure that's on, because then it will only let you draw in 90-degree angles, and it gets super, super easy. So go to draw, click on polyline. I'm going to start by clicking in space, and I'm going to type in the first dimension. So if I'm starting in the top left corner, and I'm going to go clockwise around this thing, all I have to do is move my mouse off to the right so that my line looks like it's going to go horizontal right, and I type in 5 feet, and then I can pull down. Then I type in 4 feet. Whoop, look at that. Then I can type in 1 foot 6 inches. So notice down there, I'm actually using my foot and inch mark. It's more important in Autocad to use feet and inches because Rhino has sort of an inherent, a more easily understandable inherent unit. So 1 foot 6 inches. And then here's what I want to show you as a tip. Okay. This is where the smart track in Rhino and your polar tracking in Autocad are incredibly useful. Now that I have my 4 foot line drawn, I don't have to type in 4 feet anymore. I can hover over the object snap. Notice how it turns green? And then I pull my mouse off of it. And now notice how I've got this green dashed line. Functions exactly like the smart track in Rhino. So I'm moving my mouse around on that spot, but the intersection X mark is not moving. That means it will place that line exactly 4 feet where it intersects that track. So now the downside here is that I can't do that for the 1 foot 6 inch I have to go over, but I can do it here and click. Then I type in 1 foot 6 inches, go up there, and I click, so on and so forth. Okay? Yes?
That first line is 5 feet, you said.
5 feet, yeah. Yeah. I'll get you hooked up with the location of this PDF if you don't have it.
How do you fix the scale? Like, mine's way too large. Like, I can't.
Roll your mouse wheel in to zoom.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, and it's not letting me go any further.
Okay. You can't zoom out or you can't zoom in?
No, I can't zoom in.
Okay, good question. So heads up, everyone. The last thing I think I want to get in this video, unless there are more questions, is the view scale, right? So I think I introduced this concept when we were introducing AutoCAD the first day of class. I imagine it just needs a refresher here. So in AutoCAD, it's only really going to calculate and regenerate the graphics for your immediate work area. And that means that it's going to take whatever I've just drawn here, and it'll say, all right, give me like 300 feet on either side. And that's all it's calculating. So if I need to zoom out far, far away, well, this one happens to already be regenerated, but maybe I can zoom in. I don't know. Anyway, I'll draw a real big circle or something. All right. There we go. Oh, it regenerated it for me. That might be a new feature. Interesting. It's auto-regenning. Anyway, if you find yourself stuck and you can't zoom in or out, for some reason I can't recreate it here, but if you can't zoom in or out, type in REGEN, regen, and it'll regenerate the workspace so that you you can basically zoom out to whatever's modeled, plus whatever X radius you have. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video here. What I want to do is, I gave you a little tidbit of information. Turn on ortho mode. Then all you have to do is move your mouse and type in how far you want to go. Let's draw the profile here on PDF, and then I want to show you an alternate method. So an alternate method of setting up construction lines that we're going to use to chop it away, similar to how we sculpted it in Rhino.